Donald Trump angered a lot of conservatives yesterday by canceling on the annual CPAC convention that's being held here in Washington. He was supposed to speak earlier this morning. The Conservative Political Action Committee annual meeting is a pilgrimage of sorts for conservatives and Tea Party activists from all over the United States. To give you an idea of how big a deal it is, Rubio, Cruz, Kasich all broke away from rallies in major states and some of those voting today to make an appearance. Earlier, we caught up with former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer, a fervent Trump supporter, about her man's no-show. What message do you think it sends to all these folks that somebody who wants to be the Republican nominee doesn't show up to CPAC? This is the Super Bowl of conservatives.
Exactly, but in defense of these candidates, they are dead tired, they are worn out, they are scheduled like crazy, and I think that if you support a candidate, you're going to support that candidate, whether he shows up here or not. Their schedules.
You think Trump was a little worried about?
I know. No, I don't.
You don't think he was worried about protests, those kinds of things?
No, I do not. No, I mean, he's been in big groups all across the country, and there have been protesters. You can't be a politician and worry about a few protesters here or there, or you ought not to be afraid to go into the lion's den, because those are the people you need to. Those are the people you need to convince.
A lot of people have learned this is the lion's den. You think about the other lion's den, which was the debate on Thursday night that we saw. Reasonable people could agree that when it came to the real policy issues, Trump has problems. So many people thought that Trump's Waterloo was going to be his bombastic statements. Are we seeing now, though, that perhaps it's the policy issues that's going to trip him up, that he's going to have to keep making these statements, oh, I'm going to take that back, oh, I'm going to move this?
You know, I think it's very difficult for anybody to answer in-depth a policy question in 1 minute. You just can't do it. And all the candidates, they blurt out certain things, a certain kind of message, but they're sound bites, and that's what gets transmitted. And so it's very, very difficult. So sometimes I wonder if it wouldn't be better if we just had the candidates individually just sit down for 30 minutes on debate night and talk about that. But you can't expect people to go into deep policy, I don't think, in a debate, given the fact that you've got people in left debate, they were both after him on both sides, and do policy in a minute. You just can't do it.
You watch Trump on the stage. It's one thing not to be able to say, give some in-depth policy speech. It's another thing to speak on Thursday night and then have to walk it back on Friday on a number of issues, on H-1 visas, on the issue of torture, on the issue of bombing ISIS families, all these kinds of things. Why are we seeing these flip-flops, you think?
Well, possibly because there's a lot of confusion out there. I think that it's good if people do decide to change their mind on something, that they come forward and say that they did. They come to the realization that that was wrong. Under pressure sometimes, all the candidates have said things that they have changed their mind on. Or a lot of the candidates, of course, have made promises and in a clear state of mind, not under pressure, and went to Washington and didn't deliver. And that is why the people of the United States are so angry and frustrated, because years we've been begging the federal government to do certain things. We elect people. We gave them the Senate. We had the House. And what did we get? We got nothing. We got nothing. We want action. We live in a republic, and we need people that we elect to get done what they say they get done. Donald Trump has not been in that position. So I support him because he's a breath of fresh air as far as I'm concerned. I don't agree with him on everything, but I do agree on a lot of his policies, and that certainly is important. I know he'll support our law enforcement, our police officers, our immigration officers. I believe in lower taxes and growing the economy, and that means by getting rid of regulations, and those things are all so important, and I think that's how the public feels.
You've said so often in your interviews that it's important for Republican candidates to abide by Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not attack other Republicans.
Right.
Yet it seems as though Donald Trump was the first one to begin attacking other Republicans. So why, despite your admonition of not attacking other Republicans, are you endorsing him?
Well, we all know that Republicans eat their own. We are the party of the big tent. but invariably we eat our own, and we have now seen the very dark side of politics. It's not pretty. It just simply is not pretty, but now it's exposed to the world. I've been an office for 34 years, involved in politics before that, and it's ugly.
Well, I think everyone could agree on that, both in this room and out of this room. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, ma'am.